Hey, welcome back to V-Rule. Don't forget about that giveaway. Pokemon 151 poster collection going out to one lucky winner. All we got to do is reach 4,000 subscribers. I'm also going to be giving away 2 3-pack blisters of Surging Sparks and 5 Pokemon mystery card lots. All right, 8 prizes overall. 8 prizes going out to 8 lucky winners. All you got to do is subscribe to the channel, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below. Do that added step so I can compile all of you who are entering into one video. Go over to this video here. That's where we're going to leave an additional comment to be sure that you are entered for one of those 8 prizes going out, getting your chance at it at least. So be a part of the channel and hit the bell because I post 7 days a week. Today is our Wednesday work of art, and I am changing up the format just slightly, and it came at just about the perfect time because now we're reaching into a section of Pokemon eras that the artwork is a little bit limited. Now, there's a bunch of ways you can go about doing it, and we're going to just take a quick look and dive right in to Fusion Strike. Come on over here. We have our Sword and Shield series. A lot of these had the trainer galleries. That made it pretty easy that it was kind of a subset, really focused on the artworks and making it easy to showcase those, walk through them. Last time we did Brilliant Stars, and now once we're here on Fusion Strike, we don't have a subset. So what could we do? Let's take a quick look. We can go through and look at these smaller windows and actually consider the artwork. There's actually a good argument to be made that you could go through that pretty thoroughly and walk through all of this. However, Fusion Strike still had an era of a very specific form of card, and that would be the alternate arts. Now, these are secret rares that are extremely difficult to pull. Many secret rares actually are difficult to pull within this set, and many other sets like it. But the alternate arts are especially high rate of rarity when it comes down to pulling these. Even though some are considered to be more expensive than others, we have to consider that these are all supposedly equally as difficult to obtain. So why the big, huge price difference, which we can actually kind of observe over here? We're looking, look, $3.50 or so for Sandakan V. What? Not the most exciting alt art to get a hold of, for sure. However, it's an alt art. If you want to throw that into your collection for a fair price, for sure, it wouldn't be a bad time to pick that up. Same here with the Greedent V. We had this alt art boom in May of 2024, and now we've seen all of that cool off quite a lot. But we're going to go through and rate just the alt arts, which there are a total of 9. It's not even a huge sample, but within this, we can dive in a little deeper on the higher profile arts, the ones that I would call true artworks. Now we have 4 different categories. True artwork being our top tier, still artwork, knowing that it serves that piece of value for its artwork considerations, and we go down to neutral, and then finally not going to last. Now, I've taken a different direction. Instead of trying to sort these out one by one with you, I've completed the chart in its entirety. Now, I don't believe any of these cards are in the category of not going to last. There are so many cards that are created that when it comes to an alt art, automatically the rarity, the difficulty, the fact that it is a separate full card going into the artwork and the consideration of it, we can kind of give it a little bit of, status, saying that it's beyond not going to last. Even an inexpensive Sandakan V that doesn't seem to be too popular as far as having it or wanting it. However, it's interesting. It deserves a little bit more praise than not going to last. So it sits in the neutral zone here with Greedent V. They're fine. Nothing totally wrong with them. They're definitely the lesser price cards. We can move into the still art category, which for me I've struggled with in the idea that there's really a wide range in still art, because I don't want to push too far into the true art category if there's a reason to be held back. In fact, I put up 2 other tiers of still art plus and still art minus, and then I realized that I can make the commitment, it's okay, and maneuver, which one card did move from the still art plus into the true artwork because I needed to decide, is this really worth holding back, or is it have what it takes to move over? And that was the Mew VMAX coming up into the true artwork. And we'll walk in through that and how we how I view it rather, making sense of it. Inteleon VMAX and Genesect V. Those are hitting in the still art. But we have the remaining 5, all right, the majority of the cards in the true artwork category: Mew VMAX, Mew V, Espeon VMAX, Celebi V, and Gengar VMAX. And specifically, they are in that order because that's how I view them, from the lowest tier of true artwork to the highest tier of artwork within this set. Let's start with that Mew VMAX. Sometimes we see these things and we think, wow, cool, it's crazy, it's chaotic, and then we move on and we don't really think about it or pay attention and then dive into the details. I wanted to make sure we kind of take a second to dive into the details. This is clearly a scene of London space here. We have this iconic Ferris wheel back here. We have the Tower of London, Big Ben on the clock there, as the clock rather. There, the phone booth, you know, which I don't think they have even that common anymore. A double-decker bus, you know, all sorts of things. And we have Mew VMAX, the wonderful detail here, kind of showcasing that this energy is emitting or being created here, pulled in from Mew. And the swirls of color are pretty chaotic and wonderful. This actually has a Fusion Strike specific set look, this range of color swirls, because you see it show up in a few others. I don't know if they're the same artist or it was a similar format being followed, but it shows up in similar other cards rather within the set broadly. So it's an interesting tie across there. I love the little like twinkling sparks here, something going on, same over here, and it's really just adding more energy, and it just keeps swirling around this Pokemon, emphasizing Mew in that way. So it's deserving of being a true artwork. It's not an inexpensive card by any means, and it's interesting to look at. It keeps you engaged for a while. Moving over to Mew V, it's not even as chaotic, but I think it's pretty engaging here that we have this little lens flare, this little circular bright spot here would be it's a faux lens flare. It's not like this was done on a camera. And then you see it repeated back up here, and that ring is all part of it. So that diagonal is there from a lens flare of a light source, probably the sun, just tipping into the frame and creating that little lens flare cast across. We have a little railing here and some water beyond that, then a path here into the grass. It looks like we're kind of lakeside or oceanside walkway here, and all of these Pokemon are just moving together. You know, we have Smeargle here. I don't know whose foot this is. Is this Toxtricity or something? And then is that Toxel, I guess? I don't know. Can't remember. It's not Inteleon lower form. Somebody comment down below, let me know. But Mew, front and center, and even though surrounded by other Pokemon, it's very obviously, clearly, that it's just about Mew. Typically, you could use things like framing, where it cuts through the eye or the eye is closed, or so close to the subject matter that you go to the one that's a little bit more engaging with you. We do have one here, but now look at these visual cues here. The two eyes engaging with the viewer directly at you. The others are all ignoring you, looking in another direction, and that is part of us being human. We just go right to the eyes. When you speak to somebody, if you're not looking at their eyes, one, they notice, two, they say my eyes are up here, that kind of thing. So, you know, engaging with the eyes is a very human thing to do, which they brought that into this card, that all of this going on, all these other Pokemon, you could be able to engage visually with them, but they cut them off to make them less important. They hide them because they're not the centerpiece. And then that Mew direct engagement through the eyes really stands out, and that's what draws you in and keeping your engagement into this card, into this Pokemon. Espeon VMAX. Now, I don't know how VMAX is supposed to work exactly. I thought it was you charge up, you get some crazy, amazing power, you're unstoppable Pokemon now. Why is Espeon sleeping? I don't know if I've really cared, but does anybody feel like that's a problem between the VMAX status here and the posture of this Pokemon? I do like the fact that it's kind of curled over cat-like on a building here for its size, you know, just curled up. Oh, that's great, you know, warming up, doing whatever it's doing. You have the other Pokemon, all the Wingull kind of flying through here. This little village scene, I don't know if we're supposed to be in Germany or where we're at specifically. There's a lot of styles that kind of meet into a European style there. So it's got an interesting aura about it, being very light around the Pokemon, and everything gets a little bit more dreamlike, where it's got this haze about it. The little fountain here down below, a nice detail. This little piece to the structure kind of coming over the top, bringing us back in and holding us in the frame rather than only letting us escape through the sky. That's one thing that you can find often, where there's a highlight, or in this case clouds, that would just bleed into a nothing background. And in paint, in photography, your base is typically white, or at least close enough to that you can call it white. With photo paper, if you're doing film, with painting in a canvas, that's why most canvas would be not in a frame. It would go to a wrap fully around, so that way the edge is then air, not additional paper to interact or obstruct with a white detail. But we have this bleed out, which can be problematic visually. In this case, it's not. It actually breaks up the blue, and because of the texture of it, it holds us in the frame. The building here holding us in the frame. These I know are related to the VMAX, but they tower over. I don't know if it's specifically always 3, but 3 is a very organic number that helps hold us in the frame a little bit. All these little details, just these little visual details we don't often think about, and it kind of keeps us there, focused in, right on the subject matter at hand here. Celebi V making the number 2 slot here, and for being less than $30, I think that's pretty cool that this makes such a high position, in my opinion, and maybe I could be wrong. You could think others are a higher tier. However, the detail of this scene is quite beautiful. We have this wonderful little staircase here. It looks like snow coming down all around here, and then Celebi just flying by, being so amazing and a mythical creature, right? Casting, I don't know if it's a spell, if it's magic, if it's fairy dust, however you want to look at it, but these little swirls just thrown on there to let the tree bloom. Now, if it is winter, it seems like, oh, wonderful, beautiful, you're making the world green again, and it's gorgeous. You're going to kill the tree. It's not supposed to be like that in winter. So the tree knows what it's doing, Celebi. You're harming it, actually. But it's an interesting look here. And this S shape repeated here, back and forth, it's giving us the appearance that it's swirling around, but it's 2 dimensions, so it's literally going back and forth in a curved manner. But we have it broken up by the tree, so we can see it's going behind, now coming around in front, then headed behind. All of that is just to visually keep us interested, but it's a spiral up to the face, it's this spiral up to the Pokemon, it's this bounce between the highlights of 1, 2, and then 3 being the main center point here. All of this kind of leads us there. The staircase is leading up and away in the background. However, these lines are just a direct shot to the middle. Everything points to this is where you're supposed to look. And I think that's pretty interesting just in artwork in general, that an artist can take these details that are supposed to be other and have a secondary feature or purpose to draw you in, to force you in. And with Pokemon cards, often the center or thereabout is the focus. That's one thing I don't know we've seen too much of, and we will see it. I know of some cards already in some sets that have it, where we have just not filling the frame or just off center, very asymmetrical. The Pokemon's in 1/3 of the frame and the rest is what we would call negative space. But on these alt arts, it really tries to draw you into that middle there. Now, speaking of drawing you into that middle, we just went over that S-curve there. The tongue of Gengar being this path you're supposed to lead into this, Looney Tunes style mouth here. Just those rings working in further and further down to the center. Every little wisp of air being shown. It wouldn't be air, right? It would have to be something material you can see, so maybe it's dust, but it gives us the illusion of air flowing in. All of the different things, the trees, this apple, all the different stuff flowing into Gengar, just sucking up the whole world around him. We have this little creepy detail of some sort of haunted mansion-like style behind him here. The tree to kind of be leaning in or holding us into the frame. Same thing mirrored over here. Really beautiful. And then it's almost lost between the words here and the artwork below, but this really intense crescent moon to kind of be above there, offering a mimicked curve here into these curves here, into those curves there. A moon very recognizable, keeping us into the night sky scene, holding us down and grounded on this otherworldly planet of Gengar. Very interesting Pokemon, and actually, it's one of those where the highest pulls, these really big sticker prices, I've said this in the past, and I'll probably say it again, they have been so viewed, so focused on, that you kind of blow past it. It's like, oh yeah, Gengar VMAX, so cool, but you're not really thinking about why, or the visual cues that you have as to how you're drawn into this so intensely. But, you know, maybe today was a little different, and I hope you actually appreciate it, that I just skipped the entire pushing them into the categories. Just here's where I'm at, and actually taking some time to look at these Pokemon one at a time, because I think there's some value in that to really dive in deep. And if we're going to review it as artwork and really emphasize these true artworks, taking a second to understand why could be interesting. And it might be the things that you're maybe not looking for an art education in any way, but you're looking into these cards and why am I so drawn to it? You know, it was a conversation I had years ago with my father of just, why do we like certain cars? It's literally a hunk of metal. Like, why do we go, oh man, that looks so good? It's a hunk of metal. And they're all that way. So why are we so drawn in? And it's this kind of stuff, these visual cues that bring us in the body style and all that. So it's really interesting, because when you start realizing that artwork can have its purpose in that way, you can enjoy it differently. I'm not a super fan of a lot of modern art. I don't understand it. I don't think it's enjoyable. And there's many deep conversations I could have on that topic, and I have had and written many papers. But when we get to Pokemon cards, let's take a second, step back. Why do we enjoy these so much? And I believe that it's the artwork communicating with us, whether consciously or subconsciously, and it's really an interesting topic, and I think this is the format I'd like to take moving forward, where we emphasize a few of the cards from the set and enjoy it. And it didn't even help on the time. It didn't. Maybe it will. Maybe I'll get to a set where True Artwork only has 2 and we got to do that, or maybe I'll even dial it down and you know, get a couple details, but really get to that 1 or 2 that I want to talk about. So today, good test on the new format. And if you liked it, go ahead and prove that by liking the video, commenting down below, and subscribing to the channel. We are doing a Pokemon 151 poster collection, going out to 1 lucky winner, 2 of the 3-pack blisters from, my goodness, Surging Sparks, where am I at? And we're doing 5 mystery card lots. 5 mystery card lots. A card lot is going to be a group of cards. I haven't decided the number. I think it's going to be close to like 10, but we'll see. Just mystery cards that are going out to 5 additional winners there. So 8 winners overall, working our way to 4,000 subscribers. And don't forget to hit the bell, because I post 7 days a week. And with that, I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.